Override the standard, be your normal. In the back, I'd like to crack a crawl for you.
What did I do to deserve your royalty?
When tomorrow comes, picture sent from heaven, it's not above love.
Definitely, because I want to do a lot more stuff like that with future Gorillaz stuff, because I think, you know, it's just fucking essential that we start introducing more of that into our culture, because it's got to be done, isn't it?
Hey, you beautiful people. A couple months ago, we went over the Gorillaz debut album that came out in 2001. It was a time of change, and Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett were able to enhance this change with experimental, lo-fi, hip-hop, reggae, pop, and a fictional band that made such music. It seemed like this was going to be a one and done deal, especially with the fact that they weren't able to lock down a script for a movie. So, they were going to set higher standards. Before we begin, this video will be different to the last time I analyzed the Gorillaz album. We'll be going over the different demons that this album goes through instead of the different genres the album has. First, let's go over the context of the album.
So what other ideas have you had for Gorillaz? And is it a continuing project, or is this the conclusion? Another album?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damon,
Yeah.
how are you going to fit this in?
I'm going to Africa, and then Mongolia, then coming back, finishing the Blur album. And
It's
then-
like you were rocking then when you started to say all that. You started rocking backwards and forwards.
It's
No,
the
they
Indiana
weren't.
Jones
there isn't
pop,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah. And then we'll start working on this again. As the day I woke up, I realised that being a musician was about music and nothing else. Life has got a lot simpler, and my whole life got a lot simpler. I recommend it to anyone who's involved in music, just sort of concentrate on music and everything else sort itself out.
After the debut album tour, some bonus songs, and a remix album, Damon began recording with Blur for Think Tank as Jamie was working on a Gorillaz movie. Now, Blur's Think Tank was practically a Gorillaz album without the name. With Graham Coxon leaving the band at the time, it was only Damon's sound contributing to the album, with Alex James and Dave Roundtree contributing as usual. It was more electronic, lo-fi, drum machine loops, and having quirky sounds. But I digress. This album may have not been the band's best project, but it was practically the predecessor to what Damon would continue writing: love and politics.
So fuck the music, listen. See this symbol here? This is a symbol for the campaign for nuclear disarmament. Bombing one of the poorest countries in the world is wrong.
Hewlett, on the other hand, was struggling with a movie for Gorillaz. Bad script after bad script. By the time Damon had to record new material, which would have been for the movie, it was scrap. So, let's just make a new album. Damon began his new material with inspiration from a train ride to Beijing to Mongolia. Jamie began his material by converting his ideas from the movie into a new look for the band. The band doesn't look much like a cartoon anymore, without awkward proportions. Instead, more realistic, drearier, and ghoulish. They still had an inappropriate edge to them. Murdoch's nudity, 2D's violent undertones, Russell's dread or serious attitude, and then Noodle's outfits. Noodle's design is the most different, as she is the one who requires aging up, and we learn her backstory. A child super soldier, but her design still holds true to her young expression. The duo wanted to set new heights for the characters, more than a gimmick. The album needed more details, it needed a story, it needed more people. Recording of the album began around February 2004, with Danger Mouse joining as a producer instead of Dan the Automator, around April of the same year. Collaborations also extended outside of Delta Funky Homo Sapien. The man wouldn't even perform with the band anyway. Nene Cherry, Booty Brown, De La Soul, Ike Turner, MF Doom, Roots Manuva, Martina Topley Bird, Sean Ryder, Rosie Wilson, Dennis Hopper, the San Fernandez Youth Chorus, and the London Community Gospel Choir joined the band performing rap verses and melodic verses or playing an instrument on the album. With an album of this scope, it offered more voices and themes. Recording finished in November 2004. The album underwent many sounds to experiment with, and the first official sound was rocket. Sounds a bit cartoony, sounds a little bit from the debut album. It was dropped from the track list. And Feel Good Inc. was the real song. Soon after that, the album was released. It is called Demon Days, and you must reject false icons.
They had recorded a bunch of stuff already, like he did the first time, yeah. And when I sat and listened to a lot of it, it was great. And then the first thing we worked on was Dirty Harry. We got along and it worked out okay.
Unlike self-titled, Demon Days begins with an instrumental intro with distorted vocals and samples of Dawn of the Dead. It's the track to set the tone. It's a much darker album. This is also the point to establish that Noodle is the main writer here, whereas Murdoch and 2D wrote the last one. With this info, it is best to note that Noodle recorded the demos and wrote the lyrics for each song unless otherwise stated. So, no genius, the songs are not exactly 2D's perspective or his lyrics, besides the one track which we'll get into in a bit. Other than that, the intro is just simply an intro, and we are only just in the beginning. Full of waste, full of shit. The Last Living Souls is where we are introduced to the proper new sound for Gorillaz. A crappy drum machine mixed with the orchestral arrangement of the song. Here is also where we hear 2D's new vocal voice. Damon's original yelpy delivery contributed to the cartoon aesthetic in the debut album, but as established, the new album needed a new approach. So just do your normal singing voice. Commonly, Damon would do high falsettos, especially with Blur, and when talking normally, he has a very deep voice. With Demon Days though, it is sort of a gravel with high impacts. This would mark 2D's phase 2 singing, and don't worry, it is established canonically that Damon taught 2D how to sing better. As for the song itself, it is a very daunting listen. As Noodle puts it, you are a lone trooper in this introduction of Demon Days. The demon we are facing is the thought of what is left of us. Are we what is left to offer the world? Are we the last to learn? The world is always on the possibility on ending, but we can't take the gun, we can't enact violence on each other. The orchestration is frantic and lively, kind of hopeful but also depressing. As it states we can enact violence, but damn, what could we really do? It's not wrong to feel down, as we're out of song, out of hope. The visualizer showcases the band in their 3D CGI forms. I believe the intent is to bring out the drearier designs in a more realistic sense. It becomes part of the aspect that they are with us in questioning what is left of us. Although, there is an additional visualizer that started appearing around Plastic Beach era as a different look to the song. Two men are traveling the desert mountain, only to be revealed that they are infected. Almost as if it represents us. We are what is left to offer, and we're already dead. Last Living Souls is already a high point for me in the album. As I said, it's lively and frantic. I do like the sound of the drum machine. There's also some country aspect in 2D's vocals during the bridge, and his voice is haunting when it comes to the chorus. It's an amazing blend of trip-hop and orchestra, and it's very impactful that way. Kids with Guns begins with a drum and bass that is affectuous. It leans more into alternative rock compared to the sample work and orchestral presented before. A switch up for Damon's warning. A nice boy just decided to pick up a knife and show it to his friends at lunchtime. It's a very real problem, but I'm not treating it as a problem. It's part of the brutalization of a generation that's going on at the moment. Kids with Guns is an uneasy song of a cautionary tale of guns. Remember that Gorillaz does not want us to glamorize guns. They are anti-gun, anti-violence. Noodle has suffered from the trauma of being armed with guns at a very young age. Noodle does not want children to go through that. So the lyrics say, guns turn us into monsters. A warning. But no, guns are cool. We protect ourselves, duh. The demon here is corruption. Humans' desire to be cool is what is causing the glamorization of guns. We think it's for our safety. We think it's cool to own such a weapon. Much like how the boy thought it was cool to own a knife and show it off. Nene Cherry sings from the perspective of an indecisive mind. The visualizer is images of many different guns. Looks cool. contributing to the fact of their glamorization. Kids with Guns is a supreme third track as it breaks from the introduction into a more frantic rock and roll dreamy nightmare. A melodic bass with eerie guitar tracks only to explode in the end. The monster awaits. You know that guitar sound kind of sounds like Blur's opening to Repetition, but pitched up. Anyway, keeping up with the alternative rock sound, Oh Green World now presents a distorted nightmare compared to the more dreamlike sounds of Kids with Guns. A nasty track with 2D's vocals heavily filtered and processed. The words are a reminder to keep a little greenery in your heart, or you may forget what you were fighting for in the first place. And that really is the domain of the undead. We are drowning in distortion throughout the song. As Noodle says, we must remember the green in our hearts. Remember what we are living for. We all want for the world to keep being green, to keep living. But where are we when all that is changing the world? I feel as though the distortion is to limit the message of the song, as if we are having trouble wishing for the world to be green. The lyrics are there to motivate, you just have to listen closely. The visualize shows off more of the band, but in a hellscape of waste. It's frantic, but it's there for you to see. You have to hear the message and you have to see it for yourself. I love this track as a way to continue the dark alternative rock sounds. We are still in a segment of questioning and the desires that come after us. What are we wishing for though? A better world. The synths and the bass complete the song as a way to keep a groove. It's still pop in a way, but it delivers the dark themes visually and sonically.
I need a gun to keep myself among.
Time for a switch up. Dirty Harry is a hip-hop electronic dance beat talking about war. Now, this is one of the songs that 2D can actually take credit for, as he developed the song with Damon after a Blur show in 2003. Noodle would then add on to the jam demo to be the anti-war song that it is now, as well as Danger Mouse adding a children's choir. There's a sense of affecting the young as a civilization. We seem to be taking something of their innocence away with a lot of images of conflict that are constantly being displayed. The addition of the Arabic string section, I think, provides a balanced view musically. As I said, it is a dance song with rap involved. Minimal verses, but the verse that brings it all together is Booty Brown's. Yes, we want to dance. This song makes us want to dance. But why do I need this gun? To keep myself among. The soldier then speaks to us of his PTSD and imposter syndrome. He just feels like a pawn for the speaker. The speaker wants war and all we want to do is dance. This is a very straightforward song, a dance song that wants us to dance instead of going to war. The music video reflects the military outfits the band wears, tired out and in the desert, bringing music to this empty void of sand. The kids also reflect the loss of innocence. Why are they needing a gun and why can't they just dance? We took that away from them. The speaker took that away from them. Dirty Harry is an upbeat cleanser from the previous songs. It begins a new segment of this album of what we really want. Forget the fact we could be the last. Forgo the guns and let's dance, damn it. I love singing the chorus, but there are corporations who want to bring it down. Everyone should know the song. It needs no introduction. Just know it is a rock ballad rap pop song. There is both space for an acoustic chorus and bombastic rap segments as Noodle's demo has provided. Danger Mouse brought more to it as Damon has the imagery. People can recall the danceability of this song. The first verse, the microwave beep, the chorus, and the laugh. Most importantly are the ad-libs. It speaks to the vibes of a corporate song. The band and us are trapped in Feel Good Inc. The corporation is telling us that we are okay when the city is collapsing, yet we are numbing ourselves to the sound of music. The chorus comes in for the dreamlike acoustic imagery of the windmills. The salvation of the chorus and the windmills are there for people to join as 2D sings it compared to his early verse of what is happening. But corporate overhears the song the band is playing. De La Soul raps from the perspective of Feel Good Inc., lining up people like animals and distracting them from the freedom. Gorillaz can keep playing their song, but the trance will fizzle out and they'll be tired out. As a pop song would, the chorus repeats. 2D tries again to call the people under Feel Good Inc.'s control, only for them to be brought back into corporate control. The song is a commentary of our escapism, only to be met with failure due to our herd mentality. We listen for the trends, we listen for the pop songs. Feel Good Inc. continues the segment of what we really want, and that is to dance. Yes, this song is very danceable. However, this will only feed into the demons of corporations, and in reality, it's not so different. In the music video, all the verse segments are very dark in colors, reds and blacks. Then we see evening colors with the windmill island for the chorus segments. It helps we have a personification of the corporation through De La Soul. They are playful in their dancing but portrayed to look down on 2D and us. It also adds to the irony of corporations though. See, corporations want to be seen as the good guy, good vibes and all, like pop music. Pop music is everywhere in marketing. It makes the corporation seem relatable to the people. Also connecting to the fact that despite how popular rap is, it's not popular with general music listeners. They don't commonly like rap and pop songs, unless if it's quote-unquote fitting. Much like how Gorillaz fans remove rap segments from Gorillaz songs. But De La Soul are rappers and they rap to portray Feel Good Inc. The mask is completely off, as of De La Soul, Damon see no other way around for corporations to speak. They are evil and controlling. The plot of the song is to escape, not reveal who is evil. It is the best song of the album. It is the best of the 2000s. What more can I say when just reviewing it? It's like saying water is good. Though I think the song is not looked at closely enough. The song is everything Gorillaz and it lives on in every album afterwards. But the spirit of Feel Good Inc. is often disregarded. The fusion of pop, rock, and rap. We have constantly gone against escaping the corporation, but it's become a corporate song. Listen to the remix of it. De La Soul's rap is cut down to repetitive parts of their parts. Yes, it is a good song, but I feel people take it for granted. Constantly losing against the demon, and that is corporations. But damn it, let's dance for the entire song. Pretty sure the actual translation here is the tomorrow. If it's supposed to be the future, then it should have been titled El Futuro. Besides that, El Mañana takes an acoustic break ending the segment of this album, of want, and wondering where our love is. This is Noodle's favorite song for the album, describing it as the calm at the center of the storm. The song is an erratic sadness and numbness. We forgot the summer that would help us. It left us. We tried to call it back. Even capitalism won't even bring back the summer. So just maybe, our ex-partner, or summer in this case, will be ours again. The way the vocals and instrumentals sound, this is not a demand to summer, but rather a calm question. But it's a love that is forgone as we face the demons of who remains, violence, and a weakened planet. Love is the true want, not just dancing. We protested the war, we wish to break free from Feel Good Inc. Yet, will the summer come back to us? The song remains hopeful in a sense, as the lyrics don't end on a sour note, rather continuing to wish for the love. But then there's the music video. YouTube outright has the video blocked in the US. While the reason is unknown, it does point towards the very violent demise that is Noodle. The video goes completely against the calm, hopeful nature of El Mañana and pushes forward the erratic nature of the song. Helicopter shooting down the windmill island. But that is significant. We realize the peaceful life and imagery of a windmill island is leaving us, and that's because it is being shot down by war and corporations. By summer, and or the windmill island being shot down, we are left to be low, or even die. I do love this song. It's a mixture of somberness and a little light of hope. It's still sad, yet a great song that can apply to a lot of things. But I do believe Damon and Jamie were going for a midpoint in the album, that while we strive for happier feelings, the demons that hide behind the happy feelings are ready to shoot us down, taking down our love.
Can you leave me dry?
That's a great hook.
What?
That's a great hook.
What's that?
Put the chemicals in the food chain. Great, sounds great. Really great.
Chemicals in the food chain?
To begin the next segment, what is humanity then? Let's leave behind the wars and corporations that shoot us down. But every planet we touch and reside on dies. Every planet we reach is dead is a half mellow, half haunting, half electrifying, half rocking rock song. Unfortunately, it features Ike Turner, who has a controversial past which I won't delve into for the sake of the video and trigger warnings. Turner's involvement is just the solo keys part in the song, which we'll talk about. Also to note, later live arrangements of the song are more heavy with the verses mellowed. Then it ends with a choir vocal melody instead of the solo piano.
reaches.
Sometimes the answers are not available, and sometimes describing the pattern is a part of the solution. As we see Earth from above, we hope for a new world, but how are we going to work it out? Our touch on Earth has ruined the planet. We led to desires, war, and corporations, so it's hard to see the bright side of it all. This is just like calling out to our lost love in El Mañana, except now questioning, what are we going to do? The mellow segments capture a sense of floating away, a sadness that we are experiencing, wondering if we're really selfless or selfish. So the demon we face is us. We are destined to doom, despite our love for windmills, summer, and overall, Earth. The tour visualizes showcases what looks like Mars, but the detailing on the planet could actually show that it is Earth in ruin. Towers of speakers roam the planet as it boosts the chaotic noise in the instrumental breaks, and especially the piano solo. The chaotic segments express frustration in the mellow lyrics, sadness, and frustration. This is one of my most favorite songs of Demon Days, easy to jam to in the car or on a walk. I like it more than El Mañana as well, it holds the same feelings, but every planet is able to express frustration with it too. Time passing, November has come. With humanity realizing we are our own doom, time passes, and that's signified by November has come. The song is an evolved form of self-titled sound with a little bit of funk to it, and one of hip-hop's greats, MF Doom. Also good to mention here that Danger Mouse was the one bringing most of the featured artists here, exposing Damon to more musical talents, and the band as well. When Doom recorded his vocal, I had a stopwatch and I said, see how many words you can say inside the first 30 seconds. Boy oh boy, did he deliver. Based on 2D's chorus, the demon here is time passing as the lyrics limit such time passing by referring to November having come and gone. Where did the time go? But still questioning what we're really going to do, referring back to every planet. MF Doom takes it a step further by referring to the fall of hip hop by this time passing, setting up the message with what is starting to sound dumb in hip hop music. Essentially, this is to his competition. Many those who climb the charts, the gold hits. Hip hop has been an art form to express a rapper's feelings, but to also dance to. Hip hop's earlier name was disco rap. It is a very popular art form, and with MF Doom commenting on the genre with the dumb gold hits taken over, the song refers to ourselves again. By us enjoying these dumb gold hits, we are letting time pass us. Time being we are causing the downfall of art. Also a bit odd as MF Doom is on a Gorillaz album. I think what he means by this is that Gorillaz is a strange band to be featuring with. They are a pop band, a Brit-pop band for that, to an extent. Yet their sounds come together for a cool beat. The visual of the song is pretty straightforward. It's just MF Doom rapping with an audio waveform taking over as the chorus comes in. I believe it's to highlight Doom specifically, an intimate truth to his lyrics. I remember hearing the melody somewhere before, but I never knew it was a Gorillaz song. I also love how straightforward it is. It is a cool beat with MF Doom's rhymes and flow. I also think this is the best representation of a Gorillaz song. Rapper feature and 2D singing on the chorus. Sure, there's Clint Eastwood, but sonically, I think November is better. Another demon we face with time passing is self-doubt. Another evolved sound from the self-titled album is All Alone with a sample of Murdoch's ringtone. Or a jam session from The Good, the Bad, and the Queen. The song also features Roots Manuva, who stalked his way into the studio session with, and Martini Topley Bird, who knew the band through mutuals. All Alone is very erratic in its drum and bass, but also even has a more straightforward chorus. Feeling alone or being alone stems from self-doubt. Self-doubt that comes from time passing, as well as the realization that humans are our own worst enemy. So 2D, or Noodle, is the self-doubt. Roots' verse delves into this self-doubt, asking, can I take this? Or I guess in a less metaphorical sense, can I do this? Essentially, Roots raps from the perspective of those praying for goodness. Our self-doubt does help us look for answers, and sometimes for some, that search for answers could be praying. Martini and her vocal delivery is the glimmer of hope of self-doubt, but also saying that the night is the real hope. Maybe a new day isn't the real hope, as the album has previously stated that time passing is a demon. Nighttime is the time for reflection. That's when you ask what you are really going to do tomorrow. The visual showcase is a capsule hotel, a type of hotel mainly in Japan that are small rooms typically used by those who cannot afford conventional hotel rooms. I believe it is to express a confined space which represents loneliness. But for a brief moment with Martina's bridge, the windmill is shown, once again showing that beautiful imagery, showing us what we want combined with Martina hoping for us to see the night the way she sees it. All Alone ends the segment of realization of ourselves, putting together we ourselves are the enemy and that time is passing with our own self-doubt. Personally, All Alone is the weakest song on the album. Not a big fan of the instrumental, but I still believe this song is important to the album as we face the demon of self-doubt.
We're saying that catastrophony could actually be a whole new word that you've created. Maybe we should leave it in.
Of course it's staying in there. I created that word.
Fucking face, we're just saying you created that word.
Deliberately created a new word called catastrophony.
A new segment begins in Demon Days after discovering what is happening, what we actually want, and reflections of ourselves. What do we do to numb ourselves of this pain? This song is about the relentless fury of alcohol, the focused drive and singular thirst that kind of desire creates. One man's passion is another man's addiction. Alcohol is one of the ways we suppress our indecisions. This song is also what punk was for self-titled. Honestly, there's not much to say about the song. It is what it is said to be, a relentless fury of alcohol. It is a demon that we actively interact with to numb ourselves, to distract ourselves. The sound of the song reflects the mess of us. Russell off his meds, Murdoch drunkenly singing it, and one of Murdoch's ex-inmate playing the guitar line. The visual of the song also showcases the blur and craziness that comes with drinking. Even with the angelic section of the song, the man just drinks some more. Alcohol is a sign of hope. Unfortunately. But it just continues. I love rocking to this. That's it. Despite the sad part of continuously drinking, I love the tune. It's a recognition of the problem. Now numb, are we going to find the opportunity to take a stand against the demons? Yes, and we hear it from Noodle. An electric pop tune featuring Sean Ryder and Rosie Wilson providing Noodle's singing voice, this time instead of Miho Hattori. Despite the confusion of how recording went for the song, it's a cool song with a killer chorus. The backstory of the lyrics are left to be desired as Sean and Damon remember the story differently. But there's also the fact that there was the version before it became their people. Besides that, there is an ode to the Manchester electronic club scene of the 80s. Noodle's chorus tells us that we have to keep it together and push forward. It's there is the challenge to us to finally do something with our lives. This is still a demon we face as we are conflicted with the fact that we aren't doing anything. Plus, the issues keep coming up. Also think back to what this song was originally. People are always doing something for better or worse. Sometimes we are taking a stand, other times we are numbing ourselves with alcohol. Then the refrain tells us we set ourselves with high expectations, and those high expectations disrupt us from what we love, hating ourselves. Let's put us in the right direction of what we love. It's the same theming as There, it's time to take a stand. The music video of There is a video all done by Noodle and Jamie Hewlett with Passion Pictures. Not much to explain here as it's just Noodle having fun with her song. It's the one song she sings and it's her album that expresses the demons we face. The one song that she gets to say to stand against those demons and push for change. All I wanna do is dance. I love this song, really killer to sing and dance to. I also like the fact that Noodle gets to shine with her art. Noodle and especially Russell need more of a spotlight when making current Gorillaz music. We began to close out the album with a short story, as we started with this resolution segment with numbing ourselves and listening to others telling us to do something for the better. We hear out the narrator who explains what will happen if we don't stand up for ourselves. That narrator being Dennis Hopper, with a little reggae and alt-rock. This tale is about balance. You must be able to open your eyes without being poisoned by the evil you can see, and even innocents must prepare to fight when it's necessary. Apathy is a decision with consequences, and you must take action where necessary. There is the happy folk, which refers to those indigenous. Then there is the strange folk, who are soldiers and invaders. They bring upon violence unbeknownst to the happy folk, killing the happy folk. The first half of the story is simply colonization. Really, who else could be the soldiers here? But yes, it can refer back to the American colonization, but also the war in the Middle East, especially when oil is involved. The strange folk found value in the mountain called Monkey. The happy folk still living oblivious to the dangers of the strange folk as they mine the mountain for its resources. Yet the mining, or the producing of oil, has been causing darkness in the happy folks' home, only for the mountain to erupt in a catastrophic explosion. The song ends with another 2D verse calling out the US for the problems it causes in the world, continuing the war, feeling its fire, and taking away the value that once was Earth. With those problems falling down on us, the demon we face is the greed of others. The visual of the song is simply a visualizer for the story, not much to say there. Jamie's art style is great, gritty, and lovely. Kind of funny that Damon just kind of made up a whole word. That's an exciting part about writing, making up words. I love how the full song sounds despite it being a spoken word track. I also love the bounce to the track. Now an interlude for the outro. A piano track without much backing instruments. We begin to hear a choir and tells the demon of delusion. But really, this track sets up the optimistic tone that the album will end on. Also to note, this was the last song worked on before turning in the album. For the orchestrated harmony, we drafted in London Community Gospel Choir. This works as a prelude or link to the next track. The message is, don't get lost in a fog. Again, it's saying be aware of what's at stake when you lose sight of the goal. We see the disaster of evasion, especially in the most peaceful areas like the countryside. We face a drug addiction that comes from numbing ourselves. Maybe it wasn't with the people that tell us to make a stand. Yet we have heard the story of fire coming out of the monkey's head, and we simply can't strive for delusion. We shouldn't get lost in the peace that the world offers. We have to recognize the trouble to make us not lose sight of our ambitions. Our ambitions that were to dance in a clean earth. We'll make a big mistake if we continue our numbness. However, there's also the hillbilly style demo of the song that was part of the original tracklist. The original version of the song sounded a bit more comedic, a little unserious, as 2D, or Damon in this case, sings as if he were a drunken hillbilly. I believe this was to continue the numbness to have a presence in the last segment of the album, but I believe it would come off as repetitive, and the album needed something to set up the optimism instead of what is just another White Light song, only more country. There is still the optimism of the chorus, which White Light doesn't have, but it isn't balanced with the rest of the song. With the visual, it's more or less an art gallery of Jamie's Phase 2 art, so there isn't much to go off from. Lovely art, Jamie. As for the song itself, while I don't listen to it often, it is the perfect setup for the outro of the album. Finally, the grand climax of the album. Soul and a little dub reggae. The lights at the end of the tunnel, the dawn after the longest night of the soul. The demon days are the days we go through and the demons we face that bring us down. Every song is a demon we face, but the demon faced here is really making it to the end of the tunnel. Yes, it's troublesome to get there, but when we're all numbing ourselves to drugs and TV, that ain't gonna put us towards the sun. Every day is a new day, so let's pick ourselves back up and find the light within the sun. Despite the dangers of Mother Earth and wanting us to leave, we have a job to do, to live free and clean. The visual of Demon Days is a slow reveal of the glass-stained artwork of the different Phase 2 artwork. It's beautiful, like a church vibe. Just like what this song is, and what Damon was conveying during the Demon Days 2025 show. This is an awesome song, only due to the fact that it is the grand climax in the album. Like a movie. Speaking of conquering demons. So Demon Days definitely takes a whole new direction for Damon, more concept than a collection of songs compared to his previous works. But this was also to prove the musical prowess that Gorillaz can be. The music is more grand and experimental of its genres to a whole new level of perfect music, and that music needed visuals. Those visuals being the characters, their story being Noodles, the child soldier that wants us to move past the shit that they spew on media. The first album was a cartoon of manufactured characters parodying music at the time, with Damon finally able to try out something new after Blur. The second album remanufactured those same characters to reject false icons. More or less the same, but a different direction sonically. And we can hear those early tests in the D-sides.
I didn't mean to do it, it lovely in my head. I tried to
Nothing is known about 68 State, so I don't have much to say other than it being an instrumental track that was also an early sound of Demon Days, although the song was later reworked into Repetition Kills You. Hong Kongington is an interesting lo-fi track, very mellowed out, like you're drugged out and you start slurring your words. This refers to the lyrics. We're hiding with these drugs and not do anything with our lives, referring to the other tracks such as White Light, Don't Get Lost, and Demon Days. Not much else to say other than being an alternate track talking about numbing ourselves, but the exact demon here is hiding. Also, Jamie was credited as a musician. We Are Happy Landfill is a heavier rock distorted tune compared to the electronic lush of the main album. I think it would have been cool for Demon Days to add more heavy rock songs, as you know, Noodle is a guitarist, and Murdoch, but I understand the direction of Demon Days. Happy Landfill is still a banger though. 2D's croaky vocals and noise, that's fun. Plus it's a rock song that gets the shit of celebrities, as what Gorillaz are against. Celebrity culture also limits our thinking. We keep consuming our thinking it keeps us well, but it's not nice for us. Referring to songs like Feel Good Inc. and November Has Come, just a bunch of trends that zombify us. There is also a visualizer, but again, it's more or less another artwork showcase of Phase 2. Funny thing is, this wasn't supposed to be a Gorillaz song. Hong Kong was a song made for a charity album organized by War Child. However, the organizers of the album mistakenly labeled it as a Gorillaz song with Damon intending his name, but turns out this mistake was for the better. Hong Kong was made shortly after Demon Days was released as Damon worked with zither player Chen Weiman. It was later reworked into a more final result of the song, being added as a B-side to the single Stop the Dams. We'll talk about that one last. So this is a long song, the longest to date at the time. This is Damon's favorite B-side though, and I understand why. While it doesn't have much correlation with Demon Days or even with the characters themselves, but this song still does explore the demons that Earth has, and that is political censorship. The first verse is a description of Hong Kong. Political war, yet the neon lights keep the narrator calm. The first chorus describes that stars in their later life explode, possibly referring to a celebrity. When they reach their peak, they explode, or just not last as long as they hoped, while the rest of us wait for the world to give us work. The second verse asks the education of the children as China begins to spread its influence in education in Hong Kong. Then the second chorus refers to the censorship of China. The DJ, one of the heads of music to people, a beautiful artist, but had to leave as the radio stations disappear. It's a poignant ballad of a beautiful place, but political turmoil runs Hong Kong as China has spread its influence in education. The visualizer is simply the beauty of Hong Kong, and a yellow tint for no specific reason, but it's still Hong Kong and its beauty. There is really no information about highway under construction, unfortunately, but I'll still talk about it. I like this one. To me, it seems like another early sound demo for the love aspect of Demon Days, El Mayana and Every Planet. We're trying to build back, but nothing left to return to. Whereas it evolved into hoping for the love to come back and seeing them far above. Building back possibly didn't fit as we're following narrator in the album who is witnessing the demons and only in the end learns what to do. Despite it mostly being a demo, Rocket was the opener to a new phase of Gorillaz. A little bit of a cartoony song, much like self-titled, but has a sense of the direction that Damon wanted to take. The original release was reworked later on for the release of D-sides. The song is a rough mix with literal nothing lyrics. Something to do with temptations in your life, sung with some pop repetitions, almost like it's mocking pop stars. The narrator is full of shit, drinking, hopeless charmer, with an addiction to the world's sexiness. It's a part of their collapse. The visuals also show zombified icons. There is an apocalypse happening, and it's the bullshit of celebrity culture, sanitizing art. Not much else to say about the song other than it being the ultimate critique of pop music. It's a fun song that reminds me of self-titled in a way. Still a little unserious, which is why it was dropped from the main track list. This tune is actually a leftover demo from self-titled demo making, just like I Got the Law. Bill Murray, the song, would end up being reworked in 2004 with the Bees. I like this one. A quirky electronic beat with an albeit roughly mixed bass. I like the riff though. As for the lyrics, not much else is going on here, but pretty meaningful. We experience a lot in these demon days, and it happens to those close of us. The demon here being that we lose our friends to the madness. Little lyrics, but still has something to say about our story here. There isn't a whole lot to mention about friends in the main record, and this is a bit of another unserious song sonically. Another fun beat, but not for demon days. Also, why it's called Bill Murray has nothing to do with the theme or the music, it's just that Jamie was reading a magazine about Bill Murray and that was the only name in his head. Damon just liked the name. Woo! So, for the most part with the main track list, Noodle wrote those songs with some contributions from 2D. But the Swagga is one of Murdoch's songs. He originally wrote it back for a gig back in 1994, and his lyrics are kind of something you would find on Self-Titled. Convenient, because he wrote most of Self-Titled. It's all kind of nonsense lyrics. I guess you can say, going back to making fun of American music, Song 2, Feel Good Inc., 192000, which again, it makes this song hard to decipher. Being a teacher is clean work, making it easy to live life? I don't know, it sounds like a stretch, but this is the idea of Murdoch's writing, in which he comes from many variations of rock music, with variations of nonsense lyrics. Unironically, this isn't a song written by Murdoch. At least that's what he said recently to Anthony Fantano. Other than that, not much is actually known about the song real or lore-wise. We don't know who wrote it. What we do know is that this was an early version of Ogre World's instrumental. What I also think was that Damon was applying his rare character-based lyrics, referring to 1, 2, D3 and a little bit of Noodle with Dare. It is the song she full it seems. I can see why this wasn't part of the main track list though. A very simple song, just calling Murdoch God. Now for my favorite B-side of Demon Days, Spitting Out the Demons. There's absolutely no information about the song and it makes me sad. Although, going based off the lyrics, it seems to have been an original take of ending the main album. After from hiding in our holes, we must spit out our demons. The devil won't have us if we do. Pretty simple, but the grand arrangements of Heaven and Demon Days have a more cinematic end. Then we have the final song out of this phase. An acoustic ballad with a melancholic bell synth. Stop the Dam. Stop the Dams is a charity song made for the Stop the Dams concert, although originally called Aluminum. The concert was to protest the construction of a hydropower plant. Despite the good reception, the plant was still built. The original live performance was kind of just made up on the spot as lyrics were interchangeable. Let's just go off the recorded version. When we bottle our emotions, it hurts us, so we must speak with our truth to protest. The sun will shine again if we do. Our protest is to let the land stay the way it is. Pollution would turn us into something we don't want. Such protest continues into the next chorus, with that being the love is fake when we won't let the sun shine again. The interlude speaks of aluminum and how its noise hurts us and stops the natural flow. So let's stop the dams, but wake us up until it is done. And with that, the sun will shine again. A lovely song, and more people need to understand it more. Demon Days is revolutionary. The music of the album has inspired many concepts, and its cinematic feel has breathed life into the magic of albums. As a Gorillaz album though, it speaks more of what Gorillaz could be. It's more than a cartoon gimmick band. It is a virtual band that can make anything. It's a whole new sound, all new collaborators. Damon directs the music, and Jamie creates the visuals of the music. I think what's also important is that we can see these characters fit into the narrative with the album. As stated before, Noodle was a soldier child. We have explored what war has done to this world. We even hear how innocence has been lost through kids with guns and Dirty Harry. Noodle is still young at this point of Gorillaz lore. Her innocence was lost after remembering her past, learning about all the shit on TV. It becomes sad when the El Mayana video release, killing off Noodle, thus referring to what the world has done, killing our innocence, killing the peaceful world, and killing one of our favorite characters. Digital cartoons back then and still now have our heart, to be, to relate to, and love. Sometimes too much, but the point is, Gorillaz brought forth an era of digital characters to connect with, characters that could be manufactured to different imagery, whatever the creators want us to feel. Phase 1, a cartoon to enjoy and see something different other than MTV manufactured boy band shit. Phase 2, to reject our false icons, reject celebrity culture, reject war. With incredible music and Jamie's distinct and connective art style. Gorillaz is more than a gimmick. It's a group of people coming together to spread a message through wacky and lovable characters. That becomes more apparent as Damon and Jamie evolve the band over time. Thank you for diving into this discussion with Demon Days. Next time we'll talk about Phase 3, Plastic Beach. As for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment your thoughts, subscribe for more of my videos and my own projects, and I'll see you all next time.